Hey guys, so I just want to talk about the newly released Luna recording system by Universal Audio. Um, I've been really following all the hype on various message boards and their Facebook page for the past few days, and I was really hyped to see what this thing was going to be at NAMM. So people were talking it could be a completely integrated system with a control surface, audio interface, everything working flawlessly, and that's something that really piqued my interest and something that I would probably invest in if it worked that well. Well, it turns out to be just a DAW. So that's really what it is. There was a lot of hype, a lot of build up to this, but it is a DAW. And I've been going through their live stream, and there's a lot of pros and negatives to this new recording system. So let's just talk about the negatives first. So the negatives, it's Mac only, so that alienates most of the market right now, and it will only run if you have an Apollo interface. So okay, so that makes sense. So that's kind of a negative right there, because if you want to appeal to a bigger base, you should kind of open up the system and let different people do it. So that's fine and dandy, but looking at it, I mean, it looks very, very basic. It looks like what a DAW would have looked like maybe like 5 to 8 years ago, and it's coming out now like that. From what I've seen, it does do the basic things that you would need from a DAW. So you can record on multiple tracks, you can comp your vocals and your drum tracks, you could time stretch. That was actually really well done. I was really impressed by the algorithm that they used to time stretch material. That was fantastic. You can run supposedly third-party plugins. They haven't really showed any of that. So what is the point of Luna? I mean, who is this going to appeal to? Well, let's talk about the pros. So if you have the Apollo interfaces, the beauty of the Luna recording system is that you can have, let's say, a really big session where you're tracking a very big live band, let's say 20 to 30 tracks, and let's say this session is stacked with plugins. And, on a regular computer, it'd be kind of taxing to lower the buffer rate for a punch-in. But with the Luna recording system, you can use the Universal Audio plugins that you have on the tracks and listen with near zero latency and punch in a full band. So that is the one greatest advantage over this recording system versus everything else that is not Pro Tools. So don't get me wrong, Pro Tools, as much as people really talk badly about it, they have a really nice, well-integrated recording system with their interfaces and their control surfaces. I had a Pro Tools HD3 system back in like 2002 to 2006, and I must say it worked pretty flawlessly. It hardly ever crashed. I was recording very big sessions with bands, and I had big sessions with 100 tracks, and using a stack of plugins and routing audio through external gear, and no one ever said anything about any latency because you couldn't hear it. So with Luna and the Apollo interfaces, that's the one advantage. This is going to probably take a lot of the market share from Pro Tools. People that are just kind of fed up with the Pro Tools system and paying the yearly dongle fees that they have, it's pretty ridiculous, and it's price gouging. So this recording system really has a good chance to take away that clientele, but it is at its infancy. So you could imagine if they start developing this like Steinberg's Cubase or Logic Audio, this can really become a powerful full DAW. But as it is right now, from what they've talked about in their live streams, it does not support any control surfaces. So if you're running a studio, or if you're a mixer like I am for film and TV, you need the control surface. I mean, right now I can't live without my Softube console one. It makes my life easy. So until they start providing support for third-party controllers, they're kind of stuck. And so let's just look at their page right now. I mean, this is what they're claiming. Deep Apollo integration. Yes, I'll give them that much. It's people that are on the Softube console, like I am, and have the Universal Audio plugins, that's very well integrated right now. So people are, I'm sure that works well. Built-in Neve summing. I'm afraid that's a bit of snake oil right there, because there is no Neve summing. It's, you're not summing through an analog gear. You're summing in software, which is just through the mix engine. So I'm sure whatever they did is probably something similar to Pro Tools Heat, where it mimics the different variances of different channel strips. And I'm sure that's fine, but don't call it Neve summing, because it's really not. Integrated multi-track tape, that's pretty cool, but I mean, how many plugins mimic tape right now? So that's nothing really groundbreaking. The instruments, they do come with 3 instruments right now, so it's good enough to kind of get you going. From what I understand, it's not included in the actual package. It'll be a third, you have to purchase that separately. From the live stream, the instruments really did sound really good. So as far as, like a typical VST, it does sound great. So I am hopeful that, they can really, if this is the route that they really want to go with, to just really put more resources and really develop it and open it up to control surfaces and third-party plugins. Because another issue is a lot of people, they're not going to just use Universal Audio plugins. I mean, a lot of people, they do sound fantastic. I mean, their plugins are like, there's no doubt they're some of the best. But a lot of people can't afford every plugin, so they're going to mix and match from different manufacturers. And that's another issue with the Luna recording system, is that if you start putting in other VST plugins into your mix, then you're not going to be tracking with near zero latency. That's going to be an issue. Right now, from what I understand, it's only the Universal Audio plugins with their hardware, which is understandable. But then again, there's too many cons at this point for it to be a really workable system. Because, I mean, let's be honest, it is free, but it's not, because you need an Apollo interface. So that right there is going to cost you in the thousands of dollars to kind of get into this. For about $60, you can get Reaper. And Reaper, you've got complete control and routing over anything. So, it's just something to think about. But, now that we're at this, I just wish a manufacturer would just think outside of the box. And just for a minute, just never mind everything that's happened in the recording industry up until this point, but think for the future. So imagine if some new manufacturer comes along and says, you know what, we're going to build, I don't know, let's say a 60-track control surface with, let's say, 20 analog inputs. Imagine that. And have it work flawlessly with the software of your choice. And make it sleek and make it reasonably priced. They would sell those like hotcakes. But unfortunately, there's not much out there that is really like that. There's different systems. With Pro Tools, they got their control surfaces, which are super crazy expensive. So just to get into Pro Tools, you have to spend a lot of money. And if you want one of the sleek control surfaces, If you want more than, let's say, 24 channels, it's going to cost you a lot of money. But imagine if a manufacturer comes and just builds you like 50, 60 channels with a built-in sound card and a really decent monitoring system with a few headphones out. I mean, that's all you would really need to track a full band, get some, nice monitoring going. So, hopefully that'll happen. Until then, we have workarounds, and, you can see I mentioned in another video from my setup right now, I'm using Softube Console 1, which is incredibly fantastic, but the only drawback is that I can only access 3FX sends, so I need a workaround for that. For that, I have the TouchStaw on my Android phone just to control that. So it would be nice if there's just one system that can just handle everything, but I'm still searching for that. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any comments about the Apollo recording system, just let me know. If there's anything that I said that wasn't correct, let me know as well. I'd like to know about that. But I am still following this until they come out, like I said, with a proper support for control surfaces. I am not going to be investing in their audio products because it's too costly for what you're getting right now. The interfaces are fantastic, but as many people have been complaining, the Shark chips they use, they're like 10 years old, and you run out of DSP really quickly. So, right now I'm using my brand new 13-inch MacBook Pro, like 16 gigs of RAM and like whatever else it has, and I've never taxed it with sessions. I can put as many plugins as I want. I can put as many tracks as I want, do whatever at a super low latency. It hasn't hiccuped. So when you need something that can harness the power of computers. So that's about it, guys. So I'm going to be doing more tutorials. Stay tuned for more mixing tutorials, and see you soon.